Bortle here at the Team Las Vegas event, YCS, my goodness, with please fulfill to the world, guys.
I'm Brian.
Chow.
Oh, and who's missing on your team?
Kenny, but he's actually just right there, just chilling. But yeah.
So what's your team's called now?
World Competitor. Wait, what was it?
World's Playoff Competitor.
I don't even know the name.
Well, let's go. Before we see the duo, any shout-outs?
Yeah. I'll start. I want to give a shout out to Calvin and my homie Kenny. Brian, you for making the deck. So we actually, I mean, the ban list obviously came pretty sudden, so we needed to find a deck that was like easy to learn or like easy to master. So, and we couldn't do that, so we played a trap deck instead. So, yeah. Huge shout outs to him. We spent a lot of time the night before we flew out to finalize the deck, and it worked out really well, obviously. Shout outs to Bruce, Tom, Gospel. Shout outs to Ned because you asked for it, my bulk guy. Shout outs to Delis and Dale for playing the worst deck and never believing. And shout outs to my friends Jacob and Tina back at home.
Anything like that?
Shout outs to Jobber.
Yeah, shout outs to Jobber too.
Shout outs to people who always get angry when I forget their names to like shout them out. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
There's so many people.
That's right. Without further ado, please show us the group.
Yeah. So to start off, we played 2 Ariana. A lot of people were playing 1 before, but I felt like that when the games we were winning, the dice rolling, we just needed more starters. So yeah, having 2 was fine. If you draw 1, it's perfect because you can just grab anything, and then if you have one in the deck, you can summon it off welcome because you can't summon it anywhere else. So I thought it was fine. It has a great effect. It has a lot of defense. It's like honestly one of like the best cards like in the deck.
Yep.
Yeah. And then 3 Lady Labrynths. This is the best one. It's Paleozoic Labrynth basically. So what it does is you can't target or destroy it if you have a set card. You can summon it when a normal trap is activated during that turn. Doesn't matter if it's yours or your opponent's. And if a normal trap is activated, in direct response to it, you can set a trap card with a different name from your deck. So it just generates a lot of like cards that you would just use to like win the game like outright, like Dimensional Barrier, Punishment, and an Overroot. Yeah.
I don't really have much to say. I barely just learned the deck.
Yeah.
I saw his list and I'll play it.
Yep. Deck's broken. And this is the brick. This is the only one that you can't really do anything with if you open it. You have to like have it in like complement with like the other trap cards and stuff, or the field spell. This one's actually super broken. This says I can use Dimensional Barrier every single turn.
Yeah. If this lives, you pretty much win.
Yeah, pretty much.
No way you're not winning.
Yeah, but if it dies, if it like gets banished face down, you're kind of like struggling a little bit sometimes. It has another effect where if a monster leaves the field by your normal trap card or effect, you can pop a card from their field or randomly in their hand. So
it doesn't target, right?
Yeah, it doesn't target. Yeah. Also, it makes all your trap cards like non-respawnable by monster effects, which comes up sometimes. I think it came up for you once, right? Where they weren't able to respond to it with a normal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was really good, but you had to play 1 because it's a good interruption, but it's like the worst card to draw in the deck by far. Yeah. And then we also play 1 Heavenly Prison. So the reason why we play 1 is because this card is terrible going second, and since we play so many pot cards, we play a lot of 1-ups to like access these cards to like protect our stuff just in case. And then this actually generates your game state a lot like faster. And since it has 3,000 attack, you go for game shots like super often.
It's also like a pseudo starter too.
Yeah.
Just because you can switch the trap.
I also thought a lot of people were going to main Harpies this weekend, so I felt like having that was like giving you a little chance to not lose like game 1 automatically. Yeah, that's why we played it. That's it for the monsters. I think it was 7 monsters, yeah. And then for the spells, we played 1 field spell. So a lot of people weren't playing this card, but this card is honestly just so broken. Like, it's so bad going second, but when you go first, it makes all your welcome traps just like pop ones, which is just insane. And it turns all your like traps into like Call of the Haunted and like Summon from the Hand effects. And it just gets you like going super like fast, and it's like they can't really like they don't have a lot of time to answer it, so it's like really good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it does though. It's a brick otherwise. And then for the consistency cards, we played 3 Prosperity and 3 Duality. This is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think Extravagant Gates is that good unless you play Punishment. So I thought this was better. Plus you can like dig for specifics like evenly matched, because a lot of games are just defined if you can hit evenly matched. Spoilers, we main evenly matched for that reason. And we don't special summon except like during your opponent's turn, so Duality is just perfect. Let's you search 9 cards.
Get into the side deck too. So.
Yeah, and like I said, we play a lot of 1-ups, so you just have like more chances to dig for them for specific matchups. Yeah.
Especially as the game goes on.
Yep. So that's 7 spells. And then for the traps, because we're a trap deck, we played the 6 Welcomes. So before this, this was the only card that wasn't released yet. Well, Labrynth was like okay into the format. You just play like different trap cards, but this is what really like set it above because this gives your like cards an interruption on your opponent's turn just naturally. And when it makes it back to your turn, if you control a one of the big girls, you can banish this to target a card they control and then bounce it to the hand. So it's just like so many interruptions. And this card, if you have it with Welcome Labrynth, if they Lightning Storm you, you can just like not activate this, summon a guy from the deck, and you can use as a bounce. And it comes up a lot. You can also do some cool plays where it's like you can, if you're under like your own skill drain, you can activate your own guy and then chain your own guy. You activate trap card, chain your own guy, and you can bounce it back to the hand to get the trigger effect, which plays around your own skill drain because it's only on field. So yeah, there's a lot of like instances where this is like really good. And this just is summon from the deck, but it's broken and it can reset itself. And then for the traps of choice, like the removal traps of choice, we played 3 Punishment, 3 Compulse. He played 2, and I played 2 Overroots. You played 2 also, yeah. Yeah, those are just the removal traps. He'll tell you what he replaced it with after. This one's really good. Not a lot of people know what it does, but it just it changes one card from their field in the grave and then just switches it basically. But the card from the grave gets set instead. So it's a good removal card. It can target spells and traps, and it's like just super broken. Yeah, you just target the birth, and then it sets them back a turn. And then since you're playing your trap deck, if you set your opponent's turn back by 1, you basically just win because you're just generating like so many cards.
Yeah, and you can block their monster zone.
Yeah, and since tier is like not really in the format, then you can just play punishment again because in the tier format, if you punishment could call out, you're just like basically losing. So yeah, this card's good now. Good again. Yep.
It's pretty insane versus Castera.
Yeah. Unless you have planet, then it gets kind of awkward sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we also played 3 skill drain. Just because like I think this was the best floodgate of the weekend. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this stops everything except the mirror. Yeah. You're basically just playing Eldritch, but like just 1 card Eldritch basically. Yeah, it's really good. And we decided to play 3 dimensional barriers. Yeah, he played 2.
So my difference is instead of 3 copies of D barrier and Compulse, I played 2 strikes instead. That's our only like main deck difference.
Yeah.
I wanted like an overall matchup because just in case I play against mirror match, I could have strike. And I actually really like this against Castera. And my majority of the matches were Castera, so it worked out.
So I agree that this card is better, but since it doesn't trigger the trap cards, I didn't find like that much value into playing it. But it is a good card. Like if you just had it going first, you should win most of the games anyways. I just thought like Branded was going to be like more prevalent this weekend, so I decided to play a more dimensional barrier. Since if you flip this, you should just win automatically because you have lovely to reset it. So you just have like just 5 turns with dimensional barrier, and you just always win.
Also, there's like so many trap cards in the game. It's only like so much you can play around too. Like no one has like the same exact trap lineup as well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, these cards are just broken. All right, and then for the one-ofs, we played Trap Trick, Rivalry, and Goes In. So these are only good for certain matchups. Against Cash, it's obviously Goes In. Against like Branded, it's Rivalry, and then Trap Trick is just good at searching any of the traps in your deck. I like playing 3-0s because if you just draw one, you can still search it later on if you like have it. So it just gives me options.
Like, 2 ups too instead of like 3 D barrier and 2 compose because I was just like, oh, this could just be like the 3rd copy. The only time it sucks is if I really need a shotgun D barrier, then D barrier is the only thing I can activate for that turn. It's like a trap card.
But it's fine against Branded because if they're not fusing, you're not dying. So it's like it's perfect.
Exactly. They're not breaking forward.
Yeah.
I thought the 1 ratio was actually pretty good because at first we were playing 2 ghosts in match, but then it kind of makes sense because we're not killing our opponents, but like the longer the game goes on and we see these, we pretty much like either break the board or we like solidify the win. And best case, we see both later on in the game. They can't come back. Yeah, just stop them.
Yeah, so much. These cards are just broken. Happy I played them. And then for the last 3 cards that we main decked 3 evenly. So I felt like a lot of people were going to do this event, which I thought they were going to be like more aware of it. But I don't think a lot of people were playing around it, honestly. Yeah. Well, at least for me.
Honestly, I don't think you really can play around it.
Yeah, like you can just go Rise Hard Pass, but it's like you're not going to be anything else. Yeah. Yeah, this was insane all weekend. Every time I drew it was just broken. Yep. I played against a Sprite guy and I resolved one of them because one of them got negated after negating Prosp. And he just won me the game outright. So super broken. They always start with 1 Monster Zone lock and then 2 after they see your extra deck because they know I'm playing Lab. So they just can't do anything about it. They can't lock all 5. They can lock 4 at max. So it's like, this was insane. So happy I played it.
What's the main deck count, boys?
40. Even 40.
40, let's go.
Yep. And then for the extra deck, I played 2 Entis. I don't think you need 3 because you don't really use your extra deck, but it's like having the options to just really nice.
I never missed the third.
Yeah, I never really missed the third, but yeah. Against Cash, they're like, oh, I'm going to banish both of the Entes, but then they have a Rise Heart anyway, so you're not going to use punishment anyway. So
we don't always
like,
grab punishment anyway. We sometimes like grab over, like especially versus Cashtira.
Yeah, against Cash on an established board, punishment just does nothing because like Shangri-La protects, and then Rise Heart you can't even use it. So yep, it was fine. Played 2 Garura, and I played Skull Knight.
And I was supposed to play Skull Knight, but I forgot to get it from Brian. I borrowed the deck pretty much from Brian, so thank you, Brian.
Damn.
And this is all I had in front of me, so I just submitted it because I was tired. Yeah.
So the reason why Garura is broken in this deck now is because of the new Tri-Brigade link. So what this does is it says I have 3,500 attack and you can draw a card, because what it does is it sends itself to the grave from the punishment, and then you send Garura and you just draw a card. So, and since you're drawing cards in trap decks, you're basically just gonna win. Yeah. Also, in theory, the Skull Knight was I think a good addition in case you played Sprite, because if you punishment, because you have to punishment the level 2. If you don't punishment the level 2, they can get Carrot, Blue, Jet, everything, and just extend past that. But if you just target the guy, and even if they make a board, they don't kill you, then you can just banish it, pop a guy, like the 1 interruption, and then the game's over. Yeah.
That's insane.
I think I played 2 Sprites, and I only struggled against 1, but they were just playing Cash, basically, so that was like the real struggle.
I played against mainly Cash, so I was fine with that.
And then the 1 Synchro, Omega, never really used it, but it has 2,800 attack, and sometimes they have graveyard effects. Like
I sent this just so I don't send something that activates, so I don't play into like thrusting or like any tactics card.
Yeah, I played against 1 tier, but didn't need it. But in theory, if you like play against tier, you can like target one of their shufflers and like shuffle it back or something. I don't know.
Tier is free though, so
yeah. And then for the links, you play 1 Muckracker. You never really summon this guy, but sometimes you get in some weird game states where you need to summon like Lovely. And then, yeah, you just gotta take like 2 Arianos or something, make it, and then, yeah. So this is a Fiend, so you're not locked from it, because a Welcome Labyrinth, the regular Welcome Labyrinth locks you from extra deck except Fiend, so this is the only guy you can really make beside Nightmare Phoenix, and you're not losing 2 guys to Nightmare Phoenix or Trap deck by discarding 1, so this is probably the best choice. Yeah, otherwise it doesn't really come up, right?
Yeah, it only came up in testing, I didn't summon it at all.
Yeah, but it's just nice to have though, it's like, you know, it's cool.
You never know.
And then, I feel like it's just a mandatory thing of the format, just 2 Lingrevos.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yep. Goodbye, Ibley. And then for the XCs, you play 2 Dingrisu, 1 Aggregator, and then 1 Zeus. Originally, we were playing 2 Zeus, but we realized we only had the 2 Zeus there just so it gets banished instead of the other stuff, because if you see 2 Zeus, you're just going to banish the 2 Zeus.
No one really banished Zeus for me.
No one really banished Zeus for me. Oh, no. In the top 16, he did, but it made no difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zeus.
I mean, they just banish it just in case of the chance they get Zeused.
Yeah, and then I realized this like a little late, but we actually do have an out to IP Avermax. It's just open skill drain and then you know, out to Avermax. But this was supposed to be for IP Avermax, didn't come up. But Ding is just broken because protection. You summon Ding, they go draw Harpies. You're like, damn, you know, detach, save. Lovely's at level 8, so it's broken. Aggregator is just for Flaunderies. I actually played 1, but it didn't matter. So what happens is they go normal a bird, you go punishment, target the bird, pop it, that's nice. They summon Egglin, they go Chilling One Egglin, this would negate it as Chilling 2, and then yeah, the chain's over, and then they said something, and then they just lose next turn. So that's pretty much what this is for. You can get in some weird game states where it's like you punishment a Kashtira, and you can negate the other Kashtira, and it's like it can work sometimes. But yeah, that is just for flu.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with it.
Yeah.
I never sent it, but...
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, so that's the extra deck. And then for the side deck, we play 3 Ash Blossom and 3 Sphere Mode. This is only for branded and some weird draw decks. Obviously, Runic, he decided to send it for it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We thought branded was going to be a lot better, but apparently it wasn't, so yeah. Oh, he played a bunch of branded, I played almost none. I played 1.
Yeah, mine was like half Cashier, half branded, so...
Yeah, I played all the funky decks, so yeah, it was okay. This is broken. Every time I drew it, I actually summoned it, which is crazy.
I summoned this a lot too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only play around so much. It's either evenly or raw sphere mode, but most decks can't even play around both, so...
I think if they go a Rise Hard Pass and you set 4 traps, they just feel like, you know, they're just so far behind. It's like, you know, I'm okay keeping it in my hand if you're not going to have a board, so it's just like, you know...
Especially since we have like 3 duality, 3 prosperity, like we were seeing something.
Oh, before I wasn't even playing this, I was playing Lava Golem, but I put duality in because you can't special summon and, you know, do that, so yeah, it was really good. And then the 1 spell we played was a Duster. The mirror is kind of hard sometimes if you don't blow out their back row.
Heavenly can also get this, right?
Yeah, Heavenly can get this, but yeah, and also protects from this card too, but yeah. I just feel like you just needed it. It was pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. And then for more traps, 3 Solemn Judgments. The Enter Battle Phase card is really good, so definitely need
Every
that.
time we're going first, I mean, this is always in kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. I've never got double board breaker the whole weekend. I don't think a lot of people are playing it because I think they were pretty bad
every single time. So
Yeah.
you got lucky. I got board breaker every time.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't play this at like a solo YCS though. In my
Yeah,
opinion.
only 2 times I got board breakered and I had S shape both times, and then they just like played main phase too, so it was fun. It was fun.
I didn't have that luxury.
Yeah, lucky me, I guess. And then for more floodgates, this is like the last of the the floods. So we only played 2 Gozen because our cash side was already really good, but the branded side we kind of struggled going second, so we just needed like a higher chance of like blowing them out by the traps. So if you flip this, you should win most of the time.
Plus, most of the traps against branded, I'd say, aren't as good because they have like branded opening, so they can prevent like destruction and all that. But
Yeah, that's pretty much it though.
bounce the cards.
Yep, that's all I have to say. These cards are broken. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Most of the traps hurt cashier, so.
Yeah. And Iron Wall, we couldn't fit 2 because of the last card.
like
But
this card.
this card's really good, yeah. The Ender Battle Phase card, like I said, is really good. They can't Fenrir out your floodgates. Like, some guy went Fenrir attack, activate target my floodgate, and then he went Chain Book of Moon, and I'm like, damn. So, yeah, but when you have Iron Wall, none of that happens, so life is good. Yeah. Oh, and it's also Prosperity too.
Yeah, Heavenly can also set this.
Yeah, there's a cool combo in my trap deck where you can go Heavenly, set it, and then flip it, and there's no more banishing.
Very cool combo.
Yeah, my favorite combo. And then this is the last card we had to. Yeah, our mirror is not very fun. So when you go first, what you do is you just set this and you win the game. So
And Heavenly also can get this.
yeah, and there's a deck called Runic, and that deck uses spell cards. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. Yep.
Well, guys, congrats on your top 16, man.
Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you.
Until next time, we'll